Welcome, folks. Episode 653 of the Boxing Asylum Nuthouse coming your way. You can catch us on Sundays, 8 o'clock in the UK. That's the only thing that's consistent because here we are with the time change in the United States and it fucked me up. But we're still on at 8 o'clock in the UK. So we did that. For more of the fun, patreon.com/boxing asylum for the Boxing Nutters Messenger group and all the goodies that come with it. We're going to have an interview coming on today, I think, in about a half an hour. Hopefully, Des will be here then. And also, we got Justin here with us. Not a bunch to talk about. We got some previews to do. The reviews, very, very limited, to say the least. But we got some to talk about. And there was a Pro Box card. And I was thoroughly entertained by the co-main event on there. It was Angel Roberto Llerena Perez against Roy Patricio Villegas Casanova. Many names, many names. But it was a good fight. Llerena put down Casanova, I think, in the fourth or the fifth round. And it looked like, because Casanova was just a really upright fighter, and it kind of looked like he was getting out skilled in there. But he just kind of kept going forward and throwing punches, and they ended up being a cut on Llerena, and then ended up being a cut on Casanova. And Llerena really lucked out. That was 10 rounds and not 12 because he might have been in a lot of trouble going any further, but he was able to get out of there with a well-earned unanimous decision victory. But it was a fight where the tougher, less skilled guy just refused to go away and came on as the fight wore on in the later rounds. I don't know if either of these guys will end up in a really big fight at any time. Well, probably not a really big fight, but a meaningful fight at any time, Justin. But I was entertained. Free boxing, pro box, YouTube. I was perfectly fine with this co-main event. It was a good time.
That's what Pro Box does. I think you've talked about it 100 times. If you do good, if the matchmaking is solid, the guys don't have to have a great future in boxing. We'll still enjoy it. They don't have to be future world champions if it's just well matched. And that's what Pro Box usually does, because their co-main and main were both good fights. Because you put two guys that are pretty close to the same level, and that's all I care about. And sometimes you have to have Pro Box. You have your world title cards, but this is just true boxing in a way. I know that sounds weird, but it's just what I think of boxing is the shit Pro Box has.
It's the stuff that needs to exist.
Yes, you have to have it.
Like there's such a hole. I mean, we've been down this road a million times, but there's such a hole with Friday night fights and Showbox being gone. Something had to fill that void, and the DAZN model at this point in time doesn't seem to provide much room for guys trying to make a name. So they got to go somewhere. Pro Box is where it is. They traveled over to Mexico. There were no cartel attacks during that card. Big thumbs up. It was just another entertaining one. I think that Marquez is still involved, so he was probably down there live. The boys were in the studio, obviously not making the trek for something like that. But the main event, Jaciel Ramon Amador Gamez, I think he goes by Amador, going against Pedro Delgado Gitan. He went by Delgado. That fight was not as good, but I think Amador needed some rounds in there. Delgado just started throwing in the tricks in the last few rounds, and but if he had done that earlier, it might have been a little bit more interesting. Amador going in as an undefeated puncher with a pure knockout record, and got busted up by Delgado there, going 10 rounds. I think this was a bantamweight, super flyweight. So it was a good fight between a 13-0 and one guy, 17-1 and one guy who won at least his last 6 in a row. So it was absolutely entertaining as far as, well, not compared to the other one, but again, couple of Mexican kids going in there winging it. I don't think that either one of these guys is going to be a world beater one day, Justin. Honestly, I'd probably have to say, I think out of all the two main fights on there, Reina probably has the highest ceiling out of anyone, but I could be wrong. What were your thoughts?
What's funny, when I saw his record was 13 wins, 13 knockouts, but the one draw, that means he lost. He definitely probably lost that. When you have
Yeah.
a guy like that with that many knockouts, then you in a prospect, and you throw in the one draw, he probably lost that fight. But he was in the versus the guy that just knew how to get around enough, almost like a veteran. He wasn't going to. He was going to make him work, and I think that's what he needed. I mean, hell, you can't knock. Eventually, you're not going to be able to knock everybody out. Look at Sugar Nunez. We talked about him last week. You got to learn other ways. So it wasn't I guess you could say it was a good learning fight, which it was. The guy gave him different things to worry about, different angles. He was a kind of a veteran dude that was going to go rounds with him. So it worked out. That's what you need. That's what Pro Box is good for, because the reason Pro Box is good is we don't have to see all these prospect guys fighting on like big fight cards anymore. They should be on this stuff. And that's what I like. They should be here. And then you earn your way onto a big card. That's the way it used to be, is that you had to kind of fight your way onto that card. Not anymore, but that's the way it used to be.
Yeah, and then you get your chance, and if you fail, you go back down.
Yep.
But nobody's stopping you from earning a paycheck. Yeah, that's the thing. We forget about all these guys who are just out there making a living, doing just these regular fights in regular towns across the world on a weekly basis. But that's what they do, and that's a job. It's a freaking job, man. If you make $2,000 in Mexico, that's a month.
God, that's a lot of money. That's 2 months.
Yeah, depending on where you're at.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing for you said it. If you're a decent fighter, but you're never going to be a world champion, if you can make a career out of this, your family is going to have a good life, especially from these really poor countries, because 5, 10 grand, 4, that is life-changing money.
Mm-hmm.
That'll keep your family going for a year in some of these countries. That is like, I don't think we understand that, how much money that actually is to.
Oh, we will.
Yeah. But like to other countries, how much that actually means. $500. So these guys, there's really are providing for their families, because this life-changing money. That's when we talk about when a guy gets screwed in a decision, because if they don't get to fight for a world title, or they lose out on a world title, because they're set for life if they get that shot.
Yeah,
especially from these poor countries where you can move to Panama or anywhere like that, Nicaragua, with like 50 grand, and you're gonna live like a king.
Possibly, yeah. Well, it's kind of like some of these guys like disappear on you after they make money. I think back like in recent memory to Jeremias Ponce after he got done fighting Subriel Matias. So you have to go check BoxRec to be sure, but I don't think we've heard a peep from that guy since then. And that wouldn't have been a huge payday. Probably might have gotten him into low 6 figures. We ain't heard shit from that motherfucker since that fight, man.
Maybe for other reasons besides boxing. Maybe there's.
We don't know. I think he just made money and said, "Fuck it." And that happens. It's ultimately a choice. First world money in the third world is an amazing thing.
Well, this is a different level of money, but look what happened to Andy Ruiz.
Yeah,
he got that big paycheck and he has completely fucked off.
Yeah, well, he just got so fat.
You know how much money that man would have made since then if he just took it 60% seriously. He left millions, and we're talking about, I would say he left 20 or 30 million on the table because he completely just took the money and ran like a lottery winner.
Well, then he had to give away some of it to his wife because he was fucking around on her and stuff. Think about
the Saudi money that he would have made.
Oh God!
And if he'd just stayed, if he had to be he never was in shape. If he just didn't eat 3 pizzas one night, just ate 2. I mean, that kind of lifestyle. It's just
if he was in the gym for 2 hours a day and kept his caloric intake below 5,000,
2 hours a week would have 2 hours a week probably would have kept him in. But didn't he sign with? Is he signed with Zuffa, or is that official?
Yeah, he's with Zuffa, I think.
Oh God. Well, he'll be fighting a Jagba and that little. They'll both be wearing black and white trunks in a couple of weeks, probably.
Yeah, they signed somebody else around heavyweight that I thought maybe they're trying to throw in there with the jog, but can't remember who the hell it was off the top of my head. I'll figure it out though. But yeah, it's I don't know what to think. God, we've just wandered off track.
Yeah,
quite a bit, yeah. What are you gonna do?
There's nothing to talk about this week, so that's happy. We wander off when there is shit to talk about.
Yeah. But there was, I guess, I didn't see any of this except for the highlight of the Stephen Butler knockout. But there was a card in Montreal on Thursday, and Stephen Butler got a knockout over Ramadan Hassani. Imagine having the name of Ramadan and getting knocked out during Ramadan.
Yeah.
Ain't that a motherfucker? Jesus.
He didn't plan that well.
That didn't go well for him there. Yeah.
This is the only thing I know. I mean, I've seen Stephen Butler fight a lot, but he did wish me happy birthday on Twitter one time.
Hey,
I have no idea. I literally, I hate using that word, have no idea why.
Hey,
but
whatever.
I have no idea why, but hey, I'll take it. I don't even. But Stephen Butler has always been one of these guys that he is the definition of a level.
Yes.
He is he's an all-star B-level fighter.
He's a local ticket seller too.
Oh, huge in Canada. Huge.
Yeah.
He is. And you know what? He keeps staying up there. He's one of these guys that could fight for 5 more years, beating the Ramadans of the world and make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they love him. They love him.
It's just a shame that I'm still kind of bummed that Bazinian fight ended up getting canned twice, because that was a good style fight on paper, and it would have been fun. The Canadian crowd would have been all about that shit. 2 locals, that would have been a good fight. But I mean, if this is what they got for him, fuck it. He scored a great knockout. It was second round. Just a nice left hook with dude squared up against the ropes.
No, Butler, when he wins, he wins. When he loses, he loses.
Oh yeah,
he's one of those guys. It's like there's no like, he's like Tommy Morrison. When I win, I win. When I lost, I lost.
Yeah, it's always conclusive.
Yeah,
but
there's no like tough decision.
When did he have a draw? Let's see here. He did have a draw in his career. When did Stephen Butler have a draw with some? Holy shit! Now we're going back. Against Jaime Herrera in 2015, he did have a draw. Holy shit, he was fighting up at 151 pounds then. Interesting. Oh, there you go. But, also on that card, John Arobio, a Colombian import, if I recall, got a big knockout on there in the 5th round against Yomar Alamo. So he'll be an interesting 140-pounder moving forward. So, that used to be the kind of guys that come set up shop in the United States, by the way, the little sidebar. Leonard Perez becomes another one of the many taken the distance by Isaac Chilemba. They went 10 rounds there. And Steve Claggett getting a TKO in 2 rounds over Alejandro Frias Rodriguez.
He's not going to – Claggett's not going to give it up.
He's not going to go anyway.
Because in Canada, he still has – he's like Butler. Should he probably call it a quits on his career? Probably. I mean, but he's going to, as long as they keep buying those little dinner tables and sitting there eating their little steaks and cheering him on, he's going to keep walking out there.
And if they're matched correctly, like he's going to lose.
I will say this. It looks like a damn good time in Canada. You get to sit front row in a little white cloth table with all the alcohol you want. You get a really good meal. You're like 5 foot from the ring. That seems like a damn good time. And Montreal is a cool place to go. So,
honestly, Montreal is one of those towns that I would totally like. Well, cities that I would totally like to go to in the summertime. I'm not going to Canada in the fucking fall.
They've got really good strip clubs. It's a nice place.
Like, I don't remember when he stopped doing it, but like 10 or 12 years ago, Ivan McKell, when he used to do the events up there, he had like chicks dancing on boxes and crap like that.
No, they have a very good. I don't know how we're going down this route again, but they have a very good strip club scene, gentlemen's club in Montreal. We went one time years ago. God, I wasn't that old, because Dad drove a truck for like 40 some years. So we went into Canada, and let's just say I maybe shouldn't have been in the club, but I was there. And that was a long time. Long time ago. Dad didn't give a shit. We were, like he said, we're another country. I said, Dad, we're not like in a random country. We can't just break the rules. I said, this is Canada. We're not in freaking Nicaragua or Guatemala. We can't just go crazy and break all the rules. I was like, we crossed the border and we're like 4 hours from the house. I said, we're not that freaking far.
What are they going to do? Kick us out?
No, this is another side story, but there was a guy, they used to do this. Canada is very hard to get in and out of. People don't think it is, but it
Yeah,
is.
they have some rough rules, like
For a
the
truck
country
driver.
singer. Yeah, well, Charlie Crockett, the country singer, he had like a few priors, like over a decade ago, and he had to cancel his Canadian tour. There's some shit they won't fuck around with.
There was a truck driver, and this got around, that if you had porn in your truck and they found it, they would arrest you for that porn.
That's fucking bullshit.
And so a truck driver, I remember this. It was it was one of those trucker magazines. He got arrested because he had porn, and they were like, "Well, you're bringing in illegal, illicit material into this country." Yeah. Could you imagine? Hey, I gotta get better at it because I brought some like Hustler magazine into Canada. Yeah, I don't know how we got off on this subject, but that's what happened. I told you, we could do a whole podcast of just crazy trucker stories and shit that I've had over the years. Here's another story. I'll tell this while I'm on the road.
Go for it.
There was we were at a truck stop one time. I think I was like 14, and this actually happened. Nobody believes me, but Dad was there, so he's the one that could back me up. But there was a truck driver naked standing on the steps of his truck, and he was posing, and somebody was taking his photo. This was at a truck stop, and I said, "Dad, what's he doing?" Dad said, "Oh, he's probably taking his photos for one of them magazines." And I said, "What do you mean magazine?" Dad said, "Trust me, when you walk in, they're sitting right there. It was gay trucker classifieds. So you would take nude photos of yourself in your truck and all this shit. And then you would put it in that magazine and people would hit you up. And that's why, but he was taking them in the middle of the day. And I was 14 years old sitting there eating a Fifth Avenue candy bar, watching this whole thing go down. And that's what maybe the man I am today.
I don't have a direct story for you, but here's a little sidebar story. In Oklahoma, there used to be this guy who would come on the CBs and he would get on there. And I don't know if he was actually hooking up with truckers or something, but he was a transvestite. And he'd get on the fucking trucker channel and he'd get on there and he'd say, "Got my nightgown on, got my pretty red panties on, I'm ready to go in a minute." And Dale Watson, this country singer, if you ever get a chance, listen, he wrote a song about it. It's called "Truckin' Queen." It's a great goddamn song.
Yeah. But they're called lot lizards. They're not as big as they used to be.
Lot lizards are usually women.
Yeah. What would they call a lot man? He'd be like a lot. So I don't know what the fuck you'd call a lot lizard man. I don't know what they were. But I mean, we'd be sitting there and they would come to my door. I mean, like some rough looking women would come to me. And I'd be like 9 years old. And Dad'd be sitting there like doing his little books or whatever. And they would come up to my window and Dad'd be like, "We're good. We're good. Move on."
Fuck you, Dad. I got $5.
And they would be talking shit to me, and I'm 9 years old. What the hell am I going to do? I don't know what the hell was going on. I'm telling you, those are classic father-son bonding times. People don't get those kind of father and son bonding times that we got.
No, it's the goddamn pussification of America is brewing those moments.
They have. That's why America sucks. And we're not as tough as we used to be. Kids aren't seeing the real world like they used to. The hard stuff.
They think it's all fucking sunshine and roses. No, it's fucking hookers and fucking getting arrested at the Canadian border.
That's exactly what it is.
But trying to think if there's anything else that happened this week I could discuss.
I don't remember any boxing, unless there's a story or news stories or something.
Well, you guys I think covered the Floyd and Pacquiao fucking shit. That's goofy.
We've got the Aspinall guy leaving. I guess that's a story. But
yeah, apparently that he's not going to be boxing though. Apparently,
so what the hell's he going to do?
I have no idea.
I don't know if he's not boxing. What's he going to do?
I'll tell you what. I think that this stuff between Turkey and Dana, DAZN, Paramount, all this overlap with people basically having the same product, and I think it's going to get bad. I think that some people are going to think like they're getting the shaft and that people aren't acting in good faith, which is essentially what the root of Warren's complaints are that, and that he feels that they stole trade secrets from him on how to run an event, which is going to be a much more difficult kind of thing to prove. But I don't know how they're trying to stack the deck with all of this stuff, but it's very strange. and it's going to end in a very
Yes.
odd fashion when
It's
it all
gonna
comes down, and
it's
it
gonna
might
it's
end
gonna
the sport in the process. I'm not going to fucking lie to you people.
Oh, boxing's like a cockroach. It's not gonna kill it, but this is gonna hurt it. Remember, I told you when all this started that it wasn't gonna end well. The Saudi stuff. I knew it wasn't gonna end well. It was gonna cause issues. But we all knew that. Everybody that thought it was gonna be a really good thing, they know it's not gonna end up well. I don't know how bad it'll be, but it's not gonna be a positive.
We thought it was something different, but at the end
Yes.
of the day, if you really kind of look at it from from 10,000 feet, what it was, Justin, is just the same as when PBC kicked off with the
Exactly.
Showtime deal in Mayweather and the stuff
Yes.
they put out early. If you look at like the Better Bivol, the first card, yeah, it was stacked like a motherfucker. It is not that different than how stacked, say, it was Mayweather and Canelo with Matisse and
Yes.
Garcia on it, right?
It's a scheme to get their foot in there, to come out big, and then take over through the back door. And I mean, I don't feel a bit sorry for Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. You jumped into bed right head first into this because you wanted the money. Shut the hell up. You can't cry about it now. I told you, we all knew that this was I mean, come on. It was shady as hell to begin with. And like you just said, how long did it take for PBC to just eventually push Showtime out and just start calling the cards PBC, not on Showtime anymore? It was just PBC cards.
Yep.
That's what Zuffa's doing. They're shoving everybody out.
Garbage.
I mean, if Warren and them want to compete money-wise, they'll have to team up or at least work together.
Yep,
for
they're
a
gonna
while.
have to form a coalition of some sorts.
And they've shown they can work before together with him. Why can't they do it without him?
We'll see, but
we
have a guest with us now. I'm going to add him into the stream here, and our guest is coming off of a nice victory here recently. I hope you can hear us there, Sharif. They brought you in. You came in 4-1-1 against a 14-2 guy who had been the distance with a couple of good names before. He'd gone 12. He'd gone 10 with Vidal Riley undefeated. He'd gone 10 with John Hedges undefeated. And they came in thinking, this guy's 3-2-1. We're going to knock him over. And that was incorrect. 6 rounds later, you're walking away with a new light shining on your career there, Sharif. Congratulations on the W, my friend.
Thank you very much, man. I've been training hard for it, so I'm glad I got the victory.
So tell me how that came about. So you basically, you had some trouble early on in your career. They kind of thinking, this guy is an opponent. And you basically came in there and completely upended this guy's goals. Tell me about how the fight went down, and when you thought, you're like, yeah, I've got this guy's number. I'm going to win this.
I knew I had that guy's number when Obi confirmed the fight for me. I knew I had it. His style was perfect for me. He likes to stay in range. So I love that type of stuff. I like to counter on the outside, get inside, and then get busy. So as soon as that fight got made, I knew I would be victorious on that. So but also, I mean, third round set it off for me. Third round, then his energy dipped, and then I knew it was just a matter of time before I catch him with something big.
It's excellent. Sometimes you just know when they picked the wrong guy, and it's good when you're the wrong guy, it's interesting. So Obi was telling me a bit about your career, and our man Dez is trying to get in here. He was on his way from Cambridge, and he's a little bit more well-versed on this stuff than I am. But let me just go into a little bit here on you. And so you had a tough fight against Jack Bannister. I think he said you came in. And so Jack, your eye was basically shut in the first round. You still come through 10 rounds on there. Then you come in against a 2-0 guy. You fight him really close. I'm looking there. I need to watch this fight and check it out. So tell me about what it's like when you go in, though. In that fight, you got a 10-rounder in front of you. And I mean, you're in the 5th fight of your career. First round, your eye is swelling closed. What's going through a fighter's mind at that moment?
A lot of things, but I'm just trying to stay focused. I'm just trying to stay focused on the goal and just trying to make sure I go through it. Because I just remember, I remember like the old time fighters, they'll fight with some serious injuries, broken hand, eye swollen, all these type of injuries, and they come through with it. So I was just trying to follow the same lead.
And it didn't come out on top on that one come through, but you didn't quit on yourself in that whatsoever. And you've had a deep you have a deep amateur pedigree. You've been in the ring sparring with a lot of these guys too. Tell me, in all your fights that you've had, amateur, professional, and in sparring, who has been the toughest opponent that you've had? A guy that you might have just been like, I can't figure this guy out for the life of me.
I mean, I fought a lot. I've fought and sparred a lot of people. Um, I've had the time to be in there with Tony Walker and with Danny Dubois. Them guys are like serious guys. I mean, them guys where you go in the sparring match with them and you just think to yourself, like, what the fuck do I do? But I mean, I'm glad I had those type of sparring matches because it made me into who I am today, and it gives me the determination to go through anything. So if I can go and spar them, I can fight anyone.
Yeah, and I mean that's a good group of guys that they have going on there, and it's iron sharpens iron at the end of the day. And but there's some, and this is a fight like if we had a little more notes, I would have loved to have gone and taken a look. But apparently, you had one hell of a war with Anthony Yard once upon a time. Am
Oh
I
yeah.
hearing that correct?
Yeah. Back in the amateurs, man, we had a proper war. Harringay Boss Cup. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it.
So, and both of you guys touch canvas in that one, right? And then, and I know that they don't put everything in the AMs; it's a little bit loose on the records. And then your next fight, you get a W over Chris Billiam Smith, and you put him down. He's
Yeah,
got a hell of a chin, as he's proved it in the pros. So like it sounds like when you were in the AMs, like you weren't necessarily a jab and pop on the outside guy. It sounds like you were willing to go to war in there too.
yeah, 100%, man. I'm a born fighter. I love fighting. So I listen. I love fighting, man. So anytime you got someone that's willing to stand in there and trade, that's I love that fight. I love that fight all day. And Chris Billy Smith, he's that same guy. He likes to stand in there and trade. So we are the showstopper there.
Now, tell me, so you're born in France. When did you move to the UK?
I moved when I was probably about 3 years old.
Oh no, okay. So you've been there for a while. So your memories of boxing growing up are going to be of the British side. So your
Yeah,
memories aren't
sure.
going to be like of Jean-Marc Mormec necessarily.
Nah, but I know that guy. I watched these fights, or I watch all of his fights, man. He's cold. He's someone I look up to as well.
Oh, his fight.
Yeah.
Do you remember his fights with O'Neal Bell, the Jamaican dude?
Sweet. I saw that fight, and I saw the one with Hay. Even though he came up short with the Hay fight, you saw what he did when he connected with him. So yeah, man, I love that guy, man. He's proper. He's proper.
Yeah, he was a fun one, and
Yeah,
a big part of the growth of the cruiserweight division, which it's a fairly new thing in boxing. When you look at it in the grand scheme of things, kicking off with Holyfield with a big name, really to carry the division into the into the cultural zeitgeist, kind of. But who were your boxing idols when you were growing up? The first time that you stepped in the ring, who did you want to be like?
I got a few, but I mean, my top one is James Tony. I'll say James Tony.
Yeah, in the
James Tony,
pocket, hit you in the head. Yeah,
in the
yeah.
pocket, shoulder roll, all of that, man. James Tony. I mean, I've just seen him come like even like James Tony, one of them. He had a cut eye. I think it was against Tom Little, not Tom Little. Sorry, I think his surname was Little, and he got cut in the eye, and the ref gave him. He said, "I'm going to give you one more round. That's it." And then he went out there and he finished him. So that's what was going through my mind when I had that injury. I was like, James Tony, James Tony. So yeah, but I come up short. But obviously, James Tony, he got the victory. So James Tony's a guy I've always looked up to in my career. Always looked
You
up to.
what was amazing about James is the
Yeah,
fact that like he liked to spar in the gym, but he
yeah,
didn't like live the life or anything. Like his weight in his career like has literally spanned 100 pounds in difference from his lightest to his heaviest. but he
Yeah.
was so incredibly skilled that it didn't matter. I mean, he's 5'8", 5'9", and rolling shots off of Samuel Peters and lighting him up
Yeah.
with the left hands coming back and stuff. I mean, it's a different story, and those guys are cut from a different cloth. Like the weight classes to those guys didn't matter because it's like the old Kronk thing. They'll get a featherweight sparring with a welterweight. You're gonna toughen up in there.
100%. Yeah.
And so you say you're going in there against Dubois and stuff. So Dubois got to have what, 40, 50 pounds on you?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he definitely so. Definitely so. Yeah. But yeah, listen, man, it was a great spar. I mean, he went to my amateur club, so I was the only one around about his weight category. So we were sparring all the time. So it's only when he went pro, and then he went further on his pro career. Then I sparred him in his pro career, and he's going to be different from his amateur to his pro. So yeah, I mean, big difference, huge difference. But it just again, man, just strengthen my determination to be like, listen, if I can be in there with a world champion, I can be in there with anyone.
Absolutely. And you're coming off a big win here.
Yeah,
You're 30, but you're 35. So
25, yeah,
what if you're looking at it, clock's ticking.
yeah.
What would your next 24 months look like if you could map it out a little bit? And I know it's dangerous to do that, trying to map out a plan in boxing because it'll always bite you in the ass. But what would you like to see for the next 24 months and what you think you can make happen?
It's a conversation where I have to have with Obi really because like I mean, with me, I just want to go straight worlds. I just want to go straight worlds, but. I mean, there's obviously has to be a pathway to get to it. It's something we have to talk about with Obi. But obviously, listen, I would want a British title fight, English title fight, then British title fight down the line. So that's how I would want it. Just that's how what I want to happen.
And it's rough right now. Are you so you were brought in as the opponent on this one, but I'm sure you've
Yeah,
been on the side where you got to move your own tickets and things like that too. So it's got to be difficult necessarily sometimes to make these plans because your finances in this sport are just never guaranteed. It's such a grind from fight to fight.
it's true. But I mean, with anything in life, there's always a grind. There's always some type of work you have to do. So it all comes with it. It all comes with it. But I mean, I've been blessed to have such a great team and great sponsors that they've helped me financially, and I've been able to concentrate on training and be able to make it, to this far, and and God's grace, far above that. So I mean, thank God for my team and my sponsors.
You are blessed, and just take a moment here because Obi is the one who sets us up with these interviews. He's got his relationship with so many fighters, Don Charles, etc. But it's a sport, where there's just so many snakes and freaking gangsters out there, and it seems to
100%.
me that Obi is one of a select few who actually has y'all's best intentions in mind, and he really seems to get up every morning and grind it out for you guys. Am I wrong in that assessment?
Like, definitely right, definitely right. But, I mean, I mean, he's one in a million. He's one in a million. You don't really find people like him. I mean, Don Charles was the person that set me up with Obi, and then, ever since then, I mean, I've seen why Don Charles chose Obi, and that's why he mainly rolls with him. So, I mean, I'm blessed. I mean, I just count it as I'm blessed. I mean, other people haven't been such fortunate enough to be with people that have their best interest. I mean, I've been blessed to have that. So yeah, man. Shout out Obi, man, for that.
Well, yeah, and, it's in this sport. Yeah, it's just you have a couple of tough losses early on, and so many of these managers and promoters, they'll just toss you out in the cold after
Yeah,
that. But they stuck with you. They say, "I know what you got,
yeah,
and we're not going to leave you behind." That's admirable. These are people with integrity.
yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean, coming off that rough patch that I was going through, he still stayed with me, still stuck with me, still was matching me up with this one, and I'm thankful for it, man. He gave me a good shot. Still, I still have to thank Nathan for taking that fight because I mean, listen, it put me in it now put me in a better position in order to go for, to go for titles now. So, yeah, I just thank God for the position.
It is, yeah. It's fantastic. It just goes to show you can't shut the door on it. There's all sorts of
Yeah,
guys out there who've lost their first fight. They were sub 500 the first handful of fights of their career, and they just put it together at some point in time. That you can't you really can't put a price on the value of the in ring experience, the sparring experience, and things of that nature. It all adds up. Um,
yeah,
but our man Justin is back there, and he wanted to ask you a question. Des hasn't been able to make his way in yet. I have no idea what traffic around there is like.
got you.
It's actually funny. You asked the question I was going to ask.
Oh,
I was because I was going to ask. I was wondering because you turned over, I guess, later in your life now. I mean, you turned over a
Yeah.
little bit later than most. And the question I always ask is, realistically, what were you thinking when you turned over? Were you thinking, oh, world champion, or were you thinking, I want to start small and maybe a world championship, or were you thinking, I'm turning over because I can be a world champion? And I know a lot of fighters always say world champion. I was just wondering if you had like a certain goals you had to hit,
Mm.
and that would have made you turn it over like worth it. I guess is the best question I could ask.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I wanted to be. I'm on the journey to be British champion. So when
Okay.
I turned over, I was just like, British. I got British title in my sights. So yeah. So if that answers your question, that it was British
It
title.
does. That's what
Yeah,
I wanted to know because
yeah,
everybody says world champion, but I'm always like, whereas like I'm sure everybody has that one level, and then if it happens, then I can start looking to maybe I can reach the higher level. That's what I always wanted. I appreciate it, man.
No worries, man. No worries.
now, now, Sharif, you're coming off this big W. Optimistically, how quickly would you like to get back in the ring? Are you looking at trying to be back in like 90 days or something like that? Optimistically.
No, straight away. I mean, I only did 6 rounds, and so I'm good to go. I'm good to go. I mean, thank God I didn't take no injuries or anything like that. I'm fresh. I'm ready to go, man. I can have a fight next week. I don't mind.
So that's fantastic. I mean, if they give you the opportunities too, that's where it's at. Now, it's
Yeah.
so now just as a fan, let me ask you this,
Mm.
just a side question. What are some a fight or a couple of fights that are coming up here soon that you personally are looking forward to, just as a fan?
Oh, that doesn't involve me, yeah.
Yeah.
The one I'm looking at right now, Opetaia versus Glanton. I think that's a tasty fight right there. Um, who else? There was a couple. Benavides versus what's his name?
Ramirez, yeah.
Zerdo. Zerdo. That's gonna be a fight. That's gonna be a fight. And who else? Uh, probably
Now,
right now. That's all I can think of.
let me
Yeah,
ask you,
probably
just
Benavides and Zerdo.
in all honesty, do you how interested are in Chisora versus Wilder? It's both of those guys are past their prime, haven't looked stellar. Del Boy's still getting W's while not looking stellar. Wilder, not so much. Do you have any interest in that one, or is that kind of just a little bit of a bummer seeing those guys get it on so late?
Yeah. Do yeah, because the thing is, I mean, Chisora always he talks a good talk and he always performs. There's always some type of circus with him.
Yes.
There's gonna be excitement. There's gonna be interest. So I'll still watch it. But to say like it was number one on my list, no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's slightly interesting, and you're right because Chisora he's a showman, and he never
yeah,
wants to let down the crowd. I've never
yeah,
seen him phone it in. Like you get older, you get slower, you look how you look, but he always tries, and you got to give him
yeah,
that. But I'll tell you, Glanton and Opetaia tonight, that one's interesting, and there's a couple of reasons why on that one, and we're gonna break down that fight a little more later, and that's the fact that Glanton at his best has a pretty decent late round motor. And Opetaia, if he's when you get him, past 8, it's looked a little touch and glow, but I mean, Bradis in front of him, different story. but
Yeah.
also he's trying. He thinks because he got that Zuffa belt going, and he's got his IBF belt going, and he's was talking that he's going to try to hold to the IBF's 10-pound rehydration limit, which at a cruiserweight is not much at all. In maybe be able to preserve his title, but if Glanton isn't doing that, I think there's a serious late round advantage to Glanton if he gets through the first 7 or 8 rounds.
Okay, to be honest, I didn't even know about the 10 pound the limit thing. So
Yeah.
so you just thrown a span in the works there. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be interesting. But I still, for some reason, I still side Opetaia in winning though. Just because of the movement and the skill wise.
Yeah, and it's all a matter of Glanton can get to those late rounds. And
Yeah.
Opetaia, I mean, you've seen just how many of those British guys he's taken down in 4, 5, 6
Yeah,
rounds. I mean, he's an animal.
yeah, yeah.
So,
It's the movement and it's good. I had the opportunity to spar Opetaia in Peacocks
oh, no
when he was
kidding.
gonna when he was gonna fight what's the British guy? He's gonna fight that British guy. What was his name?
Was it Jordan Thompson or
No,
Elizoro?
it was just after Elizoro. What was his name?
That's gonna kill me.
Massey. I think it was Jack
Yeah,
Massey.
Jack Massey. Jack
Jack
Massey.
Massey. Yeah. So I was able to spy him, and then like when you're in the ring with him, like it's a whole lot different than from when you see him on TV. He's very unpredictable. So skill wise, it's gonna be a tough ask for Glanton to overcome that.
How would you compare his power to Dubois?
Oh no, it's not. No. You can't compare it. You can't compare it. The bar hits a lot more harder. I think with
Okay.
not. I think Opetaia he's more sharp and he's more accurate. Opetaia is more sharp and he's accurate. He's just he's sharp. But with Daniel, there's a little bit of a telegraph to him. But then when it lands, it lands. So yeah,
Oh yeah, that shot he ended AJ with. I mean, that was just a dirty right. That was
yeah, man,
nasty.
he dropped that hammer on him, man. That hammer. Yeah, it's just Daniel and it's different in terms of power. Is different, but he's just much more sharp and more accurate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. I'm looking forward to that one. It's been a little
yeah.
bit slow, so that's a good fight. But so anyhow, I don't want to hold too much of your time. But so if you have any last words for the fans out there, and for where they can follow you to make sure they know when your next fight's kicking off.
Okay, yeah. So my Instagram Sharif_Boxstar. That's where I'll be putting most of my fight updates and stuff like that. Fight for the fans, man. Listen, the people that are supporting me, I thank you. I got a lot more stuff to show, and anyone that's is against me doesn't matter. I'll still be out there, still doing my thing. So yeah, man. I just thank you guys for having me along, and for the questions and stuff like that. It was really nice.
Hey, I appreciate your time very much, Sharif. And when you have that next fight scheduled, if you want to hop on here, and we'll see if we can help you move some tickets, do whatever we can.
Yeah,
We're
man.
here
Appreciate it.
because we love the sport and we love you guys. But thank you so much for your time, man. And you be well. And we wish you the absolute best of luck moving forward as you come out of nowhere and you're rebuilding your career. And who knows where it goes from here. Looking forward to it.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much, guys, man. You see a lot of me soon, 100%, hundred
Thank you.
percent.
Right,
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
All right,
right
guys,
on.
appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Take care of yourself, Sharif.
Take care. Bye.
Well, that was a fun one there.
I love when the guys get on here that have experience sparring so many of the guys we've seen for years, and they can give us like little insights on certain things. I always thought that was cool.
Yeah, the sparring wars are an interesting
Yeah.
thing because what happens with like so many of these guys as they're coming up, they do see each other, and you have to know kind of like the inside of like who has actually sparred each other, and that's sometimes like where the inside knowledge comes on some of
Yeah.
these underdog bets and stuff like that, where they're like, yeah, I saw, like, yeah, I was in the gym watching these guys, and yeah, dude handled him like you wouldn't believe what you're going to see, and it comes to fruition. But yeah, that was a good one, and it just goes to show you, guy goes into that fight 3-2-1, and he was I think in the prior three he was 0-2-1, all against undefeated cats. But he goes against this dude, he's been in against some quality operators, never been stopped, and takes him out in 6 rounds. Like, it's styles make fights, and sometimes you don't know, like, the conditions that set things up for losses and stuff like that. So I just another example of this fascination with undefeated records being meaningless.
It's cool. Like, and it's true about Opetaia. That sharpness actually can make up for if you're not like a one hitter quitter, because if you're sharp, the guys can't see it, and that's how you get them. They don't see the shots coming.
Well, and people, not to ring my own bell here too much, but like I took Opetaia to beat Bradis when they first fought. Bradis was getting up there in age. Opetaia was fresh, and what a lot of people forget about Opetaia, and it's like one of the most important things to know about him, is he represented Australia as a 16 or a 17-year-old in the Olympics. I mean, very, very young prodigy in the sport with a great pedigree. So you can't dismiss him. He's very quality, and I stand by my prediction. Like, if Glanton can get through 8 rounds, Opetaia starts puffing a little bit. You got to conserve your energy. You got to take a lot off the elbows and off the gloves to get there.
How funny would that be if Glanton beat him?
Oh, with all the money!
Oh my god! And the Zuffa, that would be absolute.
That's the only. I like Opetaia. That's the only reason I want it to happen. Is fuck Turkey.
Exactly. I am rooting for Glanton, like, just something to happen, because. But like, here's the problem with it. I guess we can talk about the fight, whatever you want to, but Opetaia hasn't fought a live body in a long time. Glanton is not a world beater, but he's 10 times better than the shit Opetaia's fought for the last 2 or 3 years. This is like it's weird to say that Glanton's another level, but he is another level compared to fighting the French 5th best French cruiserweight and Ellis Zorro and fucking whoever the hell he's fought. He is going against a guy he should beat, but I don't think it's hard to fight what he's fought. He's going to have to make sure he's ready to go, because he's fought nothing to this point. It's been a long time.
Let me say this in his defense: the idea of the you can only fight who they put in front of you, kind of club there. And if you go back to from the first Bradis fight and go forward, he's fought Maris Bradis twice, Jack Massey, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys who, take it or leave it for whatever they are, who were undefeated. He's taken in 8 fights. He has taken 5 guys.
Well, I'm going to leave
records.
Well, I'm going to leave them. You said take it or leave it. I'll leave it, because those guys had no business being undefeated. Those were all fake records, and they were all padded, and they should have never been in versus him. Just because that's to say, you just said just because you got a loss doesn't mean anything. Just because you're undefeated doesn't mean anything either. Yeah. And so I'm telling you, Glanton he's not a world beater. We know what Glanton is. He's a workhorse. He's going to be in shape. He's going to put his head down, and he's going to make you work. Opetaia hasn't had to work in a long time.
And I really think that Glanton's mistake against CBS was putting in too much too early. Yep. And it made it so he couldn't, do a late round rally, when he's always been strong in the late rounds, in my opinion. He knocked down David Light in the last round, if I recall.
And CBS has shown he's got a tank. That he's going to go. He's going to go. You're right. He should have paced himself, because we know that Smith is going to be there too. You're not going to wear him out, because that's how he fights.
I think he was banking on the same thing that we had thought going into the fight, and that was that the Ramirez fight had to take something out of CBS. I mean, he took a fucking pasting for 12 rounds. Well, 11, he won the first round, and then it was really bad from then on.
He's a man, though. That CBS guy is a freaking man. I mean, I'd like to see his training regimen. People need to be on how he trains. Because that guy he'll take hellacious shots, and he just keeps staying in there. And I think that's the wrong guy for Glanton, come to find out. He has to have the guy that can't be on his level of fitness to have that advantage. And that just didn't work out for him. Now, Opetaia, we don't know. what he's going to be like. We don't know how he's going to. We don't know. That's why this fight actually is more interesting than it looks on paper. Honestly.
Yeah, I kind of think. Funny enough, I'll probably end up being wrong in some way, shape, or form. But this might be a good place where to do what do you call, where you put two bets up against each other, both are getting better than even money, different outcome, same event.
So are they fighting for the Zuffa and the IBF? Like,
I think it's just the Zuffa. Like,
oh
I don't
god,
think
so even if he beats him, Glanton only gets I'd throw it in the trash. He doesn't even get the. He's not even signed with Zuffa. So say he wins, he is actually only fighting for the Zuffa. He doesn't get to win the IBF. That's they better give me extra money. I'd be like, y'all got to pay me something extra fee that I don't even get to. That if I knock him out in the third round, I have to take home this ugly ass belt, and I don't even get the IBF belt. So Opetaia has like a backup. Oh, well, I'm still the IBF champ. That is some rigged bullshit. That if he doesn't get to win the IBF, we're talking about corruption, shady shit. That is finessing the system. Like, every fighter should do that. Well, I'm the WBC champion, but I'm going to fight for the Johnson & Johnson baby powder title. So if you beat me, you get that.
I think they're going to. I think he's part of it is he's getting stripped.
He has to get stripped. IBF doesn't have balls if they don't tell Opetaia, go to hell. That you're not even fighting for our title now. They have to strip him. They have no choice. If they strip him, they have no choice.
Yeah, and it's they're putting everything into this. It'd just be hilarious if they got upended by Brandon Glanton.
That'd be awesome. God,
it just ends up on the rest of the card there. There's a couple of names on there that I know, but interestingly enough, with the books, I mean, I guess I'll have to give him credit. Outside of the Jesus Sriracha fight, where Sriracha's paying a little less than 2-1 as the underdog. Every single fight on that undercard, the underdog is paying right at about 5-4, so it's very competitive as far as the books go.
Their cards haven't been great, but they have been semi-competitive. I'll give them that because they're not matching the guys versus freaking tomato cans. They're actually putting them in versus half-ass live bodies. So I'll give them, and like I said, compared to what he's been fighting, Glanton, I can't bitch too much about the opponent because it's 10 times better than the people he's been. Now, and the thing about it is, if Opetaia beats Glanton, where do they go now? If I'm a
You're
professional
stuck with
fighter,
Zuffa. I think they're probably just going to try to push him to heavyweight.
Have to they'll probably that's probably why they're signing some heavyweights for him to fight.
Yep, that's my.
You're right. That if he beats Glanton, he might as well move up. There's nothing left to prove anymore at cruiserweight. I mean, he's got what, 8 titles, maybe like some crazy title defenses. The division is not the deepest. What are they going to do? Bring over Badu Jack or Mikalainen? I mean, it's like and if I'm Mikalainen and Jack, they better pay me a shit ton of money to fight for a fake title.
Well, yeah, you're giving up your fucking belt to do it.
Yeah,
not Jack. He doesn't have a belt anymore.
Yeah. But Mikalainen, what they're not going to. So if I'm Mikalainen, I'm like, well, his belt's not on the line. Mine's not going to be on the line either. If I got to fight for that Zuffa shit, I'm not putting mine on the line. And then his WBA or whichever he holds is going to be like, hold on, you're not fighting for that shit. You're our champion. I think you said earlier, this is going to get really muddy really quick. And it's already getting that way. It's already turned into quicksand of, is Zuffa paying that much more that you're willing just to throw your title away to fight for theirs? We don't know how much. I don't know how much they would pay somebody to come over and fight Opetaia. It's all crazy ass shit. This is going to get weird, I think.
Yeah, it could get weird. Let's see right around, but I'm kind of looking at some of these bets going on here, and there's some serious fucking value to be found here. If I think you can get either fighter to win the fight in rounds 7 through 12 at just a little bit less than 3-2. And I kind of like that as just an all-encompassing bet. Opetaia alone to win 7 through 12 is just a little bit, you're getting a little bit better value than 3-2 on that one. But I'll tell you what, if there's anything that I'm like, that's a cheeky fiver, as our British friends would so like to say, Glanton to win in rounds 7 through 12 at nearly 30-1.
You might as well put $5 for the. I mean, it's just $5. Yeah, you might as well because hell, if that's like winning a lottery ticket.
Yeah,
It's $5. Yeah, might as well.
and it's 28 to 1, really. But like, I mean, that's you get $140 off fucking $5.
Yeah. Just hell, if you put 50 cents, you would still win something back half-ass. So
you get like $14. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's $14 will buy. Hell, it won't buy much nowadays, but
you could get like I think that could still get you a double quarter pounder with cheese mill.
Close. Hell, Brit, I don't know if they got a Subways over in England or not, but we went to a Subway the other day, which sucks. But the guy I was working with wanted to go there, and he rang up. He got the sub and a drink, and the woman said that'll be $22.05. He almost had a heart attack. He's like,
that's
a 12-inch sub. It was the Italian meat sub.
Did he get extra meat on it?
No, it was $22.
What the fucking fuck?
He almost walked out. He's like, he had like $22. That's where the world's going, though. Honestly,
that's fucking dopey as shit. I don't know. Even
anyway, that's just
yeah, more shit to be upset about. The fucking world, stupid fucking bastards. Let's see here. What else do we got here? There, oh, we can preview this card here. And interestingly, the underdog in the main event kind of surprised me a little bit. Going to be Anaheim, California. Got Gabriela Fundora, who has just been knocking out bitches left and right as she's become a champion. She's going in against Viviana Ruiz Corredor. And then we're going to have Oscar Collazo in there against Jesus Haro with both of Collazo's strawweight belts on the line. Those are both very, very wide odds. And this one, though, let me ask you, Justin, if I was to tell you that Arnold Barboza Jr. and Kenneth Sims Jr. are fighting in a battle of the Hunyas, who would you make a favorite? Or would it be a 50-50 fight?
Close to 50-50, but I would lean Barboza.
Barboza is paying
slight favorite.
Barboza's paying a little bit less than 2-1 as an underdog. I think it was. He is the underdog.
That actually is a under the radar, decent level fight.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a good, like, Collazo should just pound his guy. We're Collazo fans on here. I really think Fundora is going to go down because Vivian El Rojo Ruiz, whatever her name was, I really been watching her a lot lately.
Yeah, you sure have. I'm sure.
And I think it's a good style. I think it's a good style matchup for her to come in there and throw her jab. She's got a really nice jab, but Collazo, we like him. He's a good little dude. He gets after it, and I definitely think that's 50-50 Sims. That could go either way. Barboza he's nothing special, but he has shown that there's more to him, but he's still not special. I don't think Kenneth Sims is anything to write home about either. So it's a good, like, I think that's almost like a loser. You lose, you go home type thing. Like the winner gets to go on.
Yeah, very much so.
The loser's got to drop down, way down. That is you got to win this fight kind of thing.
And I think they're thinking that Sims is going to outbox him, but I have to remind people that Barboza just absolutely like outthought Jack Catterall down the stretch.
And Catterall is a really good boxer too.
And I'll tell you what, if I had my underdog pick of the week, honestly, I would say Barboza over Sims.
Yeah, I think so too. Because is Catterall and Sims that much better than Catterall? I don't think so.
No.
And I think Catterall might be better than Sims probably as far as boxing talent. Sims has never impressed me ever. He's never impressed me. So I'm leaning Barboza in that one.
Yeah, and I got a new little rule I'm kind of funking around with, and it's when you're betting on an underdog, especially when you got like guys who aren't super big punchers, so someone's probably not going to touch the canvas. You'd put, like if you're thinking the underdog, put 80% of what you want to put down on the underdog, and then put 20% down on the draw, because this is one of those that could easily go to a draw. I think it's more in Barboza's backyard, so that might help him over the line with the judges, but. It's one of those fights. Like, does anyone really give a shit enough about Arnold Barboza or Kenneth Sims to fucking rig the cards?
This is what I think about, and I include Barboza in this as well, but I include Sims more. I think Sims, in a talented, rich era, we wouldn't be seeing him on TV as much as we freaking are. I think the lack of depth is why we see a Kenneth Sims so much, and we see this is just my theory, but we see a lot of guys the last few years that in really strong runs, we wouldn't see these guys. They would have already been cleared out. And we wouldn't be seeing them main event and doing this in a strong era. And there's certain guys that I see them come up and I'm like, man, if there was a lot of depth, we wouldn't be seeing these dudes just keep getting recycled and over again. They would have got their ass pushed out. They'd be gone. We wouldn't be seeing them. They wouldn't be here. And maybe that's just my theory. And I believe in that. I believe that lack of depth at times allows some guys to be headlining that we shouldn't. They're not talented enough, and we shouldn't be seeing them as much as we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as far as Gabriela Fondora's opponent, she's 10-2, 5 stoppages. I don't think that matters. There's no one on her resume who I know off the top of my head. Her most recent loss, or her first loss was 2 fights in. Who cares? Her most recent loss, which was 3 fights ago, was to a gal named Louisa Houghton. And Louisa that was her second fight back after a 5-year hiatus. And she was 11-2 at the time that she fought Miss Ruiz Corredor, who was from Colombia, now living in Australia. And I don't see any reason. And the chick, holy crap! And you talk about that's interesting. So this Louisa Houghton, interesting fact about her compared to the rather lanky Fundora, this chick is 4'11". So
gosh, Fundora's I'm not joking this time. I don't mind watching Fundora fight. She's actually entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's going to stop this little chick.
Well, she is. And the chick the Houghton chick that the chick lost to is, but this gal is only 5'2".
She's going to knock
she
her
is
out.
43 years old.
Yeah, Fundora is going to really hurt this girl. I think
she's actually watch this one just because it could be dirty justice.
I actually will watch this because I wouldn't mind. I mean, this is what women's boxing is. We got a 43-year-old, 5-foot tall woman fighting for a world title.
The unified flyweight title.
Yeah, the unified. And it's not trying to knock women's boxing, but it is what it is. That's just the world we live in. Fundora better beat the living. It sounds bad, but she better beat the hell out of this woman.
Yeah,
I mean, she needs to. She's on a. Was she the co-main event or she's there?
I think she's third.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So she needs to go out here, and every time she fights, she puts it on people. I think she's going to beat this woman like a drum.
Yeah, that's a good bet. I'm sure you're not getting great odds on the stoppage.
And women's, we talked about Opetaia, but women's boxing sometimes is you really have to fight who you have to fight.
Yeah,
because there's just nobody else. Like if you do, everybody makes fun of the champions, but there's nobody else. They have to fight like 5-5 or 7-6 because that's just it. I would look at Sandy Ryan. Look at her record. She's not that great, but she's going to keep getting chances because who the hell else is going to do it?
That's a very fair point.
And it sounds bad, but I believe one day women's boxing will have depth. But my God, that's going to be what? I'll be 75 years old. And they might even outlaw boxing by the time I'm 80 or some shit.
Probably.
I'm just saying women's boxing has become a really slow burn as far as depth. And I think it's going to take more Olympic cycles. It's going to take more all that China, they got to get more Olympic cycles going through. They've got to get more things done. And if it does get better, Carissa Shields will look like a novice. That's what women's boxing wants. They want years from now that, well, look at our other champions. Well, they couldn't hold a candle to these future champions. That's where it needs to get to. But that's years from now before that happens.
Mm-hmm. I'm still hoping it occurs. But we got a decent card going from Dublin though. I'm going to see how far I feel like going down here. I'll tell you what I think is stupid. I will say this as far as some of the undercard stuff, some of the shit I don't give a crap about, and some of the opponents might change, God knows. But we got Thomas Carty on there. Don't really care about he's coming back after that loss. But Gary Cully in a 6-rounder, that's stupid. Shit to get off the pot, dude.
Yeah, you shouldn't be coming back with the pedigree he has and the fight, he shouldn't be fighting freaking 6-rounders. And Thomas, the party cardi, well, I don't really care about that much either. But you're right, Cully. This is a weird. When does the levels that he has gotten to, which I mean, of course, he's not like he hadn't won world titles, but I'm saying he's been headlining main events. You don't come back in a friggin' 6-rounder unless you're in prison or something, or you had to, or you're 85 years old like Oliver McCall, and you've got this is a joke. This is like you just said, you summed it up. You're not going anywhere with your career now.
It sounds like they're just trying to move some tickets with him or something.
That's all that.
Like
we all knew he was going to get exposed. He's too
upright, chin straight up in the fucking air.
And he got destroyed. That's what happens. I mean, it's like Fundora's that's already happened to him, and it probably happened again. That you can't stand like a totem pole. Eventually, you're going to get cut. And Cully, a 6-rounder is stupid. Like you said, he'll probably move some tickets though for that 6-rounder because he does have a pretty big following still, I imagine. So that was like, hell, we need to make some money off of this. Where's Cully at? Does he want to come on here? Yeah, get him in here. That's what it sounds like. Let's get his ass. You want to fight a 6-rounder versus some 8-12 Nicaraguan? Come on, we'll get you.
Get your pink trunks ready. Get in the ring.
That's it.
Ryan Garner's going to be on there. I still got that as TBA, which is weird. I mean, he's a guy with 18-0. Liam Walsh 9-0-2 going in against. I'll probably get this one wrong. His first name is spelled Eoghan. Egan Lavin. Well, he's 7-0, so that's interesting enough. Maybe
you're right. It's Egan or Ian.
Yeah, it could be
one of those. It's one of those.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
I'm gonna say Ian. I'm gonna say it's probably pronounced Ian or Eugene. They'll really get crazy with it. They're like Eugene.
Then we got Stephen Cairns against Arnie Dawson. Cairns undefeated. Dawson won the loss on there. John O'Carroll against Cole Murphy. Murphy undefeated. This is for the IBO World Super Featherweight title, which is vacant. Maxie Hughes stepping in against Pierce O'Leary, but this is a 140-pound fight. I don't like that for Maxie.
He's a late minute too.
Yeah,
I don't think this work out. I don't think this is going to work out for him at all.
Who did he lose to in his last fight? He lost a majority decision to Bakadir Usmanov.
Yeah, I don't think Hughes is going to. This is not going to turn out well for him. I don't think.
No, I think this is a weight class too high. Yeah,
but he's another guy that he's had a good career. He shouldn't have to be coming in at a last minute replacement at a higher weight. He should have earned the right to not have to be accepted in this shit.
It's for the IBO 440-pound title, though.
Oh yeah, but I don't think it's going to work out for him.
They have the title of integrity, they say. And then, and I'll tell you what, this one, I need to go look at the odds here and see what it is. But Jazza Dickens having a career renaissance. He's going in against Anthony Cacace. Cacace gave up his belt after Lee Wood, so he didn't have to face Sugar Nunez. And maybe he should have done that. I don't know.
He probably should have.
But yeah, he's going to go in, try to get another belt to recycle around the British and Irish boxing scenes amongst many undeserving challengers. But let's see what the odds say on that one. That was a curiosity to me here. Because that one, I like, if for some reason Jazz Dickens is the favorite, like I would probably lump money on freaking Cacace, honestly, in my opinion. Like,
I think Cacace's going to win. So yeah, I would definitely put money on.
I would think he has to be the favorite. He has to be the favorite.
I mean, Dickens he's running on borrowed time right now. I think this is like a career renaissance that nobody thought was going to happen, that he was going to be where he's at right now. So I think he's playing with house money. Dickens is, in my opinion. I don't think anybody thought we was going to see Jazza Dickens as a world champion in 2026.
Yeah, I'm not even seeing a freaking any numbers on that one, honestly, yet. So there are no odds on that fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real 50-50. I guess it's hard to come up with.
I don't think it's a real 50-50. Rob, what do you think? If just right off the bat, what would you put the odds at, or as far as Cacace and Jazza Dickens?
Ooh. I don't know. I don't know. Where's the fight?
It's in Dublin.
Yeah, Cacace, I think, give him the edge, like, at home. But Jazza Dickens is a right good fighter, like. And he could be one that Cacace comes unstuck against, like. But I think Cacace's kind of, he had a kind of a start to the career. Bit of turbulence at the beginning. There was a kind of a doubt about him, wasn't it? Whether he could put it all together. There was no doubt about the ability, but the talk about him was that he has the goods, but maybe didn't put it all together outside the ring. I don't know. They're just looking from a distance, but since he's got in his position as world champion, I think he gave up a belt to win a version of a different one or something, didn't he?
No, he hasn't been in the ring since then. So it's like this is the belt he's getting a chance at since he ducked Nunez.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a winnable fight for him in Dublin on that card. Like, I think if he's on his game, he should have just a small bit too much for Jazzy Dickens. Like,
I think it's actually a little bit. It should be a little bit wider. I think Dickens should be outside of 2-1, in my opinion. Like I said, I can't find any odds on that one. I just kind of feel like Cacace knocks him out. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think if he puts it together, there's a good chance. I think I'm more likely maybe lopsided 12, maybe, but it'd be good to have boxing back in Dublin on a big card again. Now that it's safe to have fights here. That'd be nice it'd be nice for the fight fans to get out in their droves, and there'll be a big travelling support from Belfast down the couple of hour and a half down the road it is to Dublin for that. Like, good weekend in Dublin as well. Like, so yeah, that should be a good one.
Now, help me out here. The first name spelled Eoghan. How would you pronounce that?
That is Owen, believe it or not.
Owen. Well, we weren't right. Justin was closest. He thought it could be Ian.
Yeah, Owen. That one is in Gaelic.
Owen Levin against Liam Walsh, undefeated guys. That one's on there. Stephen Kearns against Arnie Dawson, and John O'Carroll against Cole Murphy, who's sitting undefeated right now. But that's going to be a 12-rounder. That's kind of getting in the deep end.
Crossroads fight for Cole Murphy and John O'Carroll, two of them. One of them's on a trajectory and the other one's in Last Chance Saloon. So that should be... Actually, Carroll always is pretty good value in the flesh, like on a cat, like, you know what I mean? He didn't quite hit the heights. I think he probably overachieved in his early career after beating John O'Carroll and getting himself all the way to a position where he got a shot at Tevin Farmer. Got a bit of a schooling that night. But he's always in he comes to fight John O'Carroll, like. So that should be an entertaining one again for the crowd, especially if it goes the full 12. Like, I haven't seen much of the other kid actually, but I know Carroll is good value on the day, so should be a good one. Like,
yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day, isn't it? That's why they're doing.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about where are we in? St. Patrick's Day.
Couldn't think of anything worse than being in fucking Dublin on St. Patrick's Day. But anyway, have at it. Everyone else have at it. Sure, it'd be great. Like,
well, I'm sure the way they look at it is like, look, it's St. Patrick's Day in Dublin. We know people are going to end up punching each other, so we might as well make money off.
Anyway, yeah. Anyway, you probably see some better fights on the street actually. Yeah. It's not what it used to be. It's not. It's commercialized these days. Back in the days, you'd see some right. You used to see some right punch-ups in the pubs back in the day when, because Patrick's Day was one of the other days as well that the builders were off, like. So the builders used to go out, like, and then they'd be all drinking all day on the bank holiday. There's a lot of good horse race events and that, like, so. Yeah, generally, like, it starts early in the morning, doesn't it? 11 o'clock job. So if you get down by the afternoon or evening time, you used to see the best. You could skip the undercard and go straight to the main events, like. But it's not. It's a bit commercialized these days. It's all pageantry, and can we all just get along?
Well, and here in the United States, it's just a bunch of people drinking fucking beer with green food dye in it while listening to Flogging Molly.
Yeah, I don't know which sounds worse now. Maybe I'll take my chance in Dublin. Like.
But I guess the only other thing, Rob, because there wasn't much to watch. Any thoughts on Jai Opetaia and Brandon Glanton tonight? Paramount Plus. Exciting.
I think that's a very, very winnable fight for Jai Opetaia for somehow. It looks almost like anybody who signs for Zuffa gets a fucking signing on fight, not a signing on fee. You get a sign on fight of an opponent you can knock over. Brandon Glanton, he's lost like anytime he's got up the levels. He's win over Brown or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, his last fight out, yeah.
Which is, I don't know, what Brown's a bit of an enigma himself, like, so I don't even know if that's a good win. I would say Opetaia blows him away. Say he blows him away, takes him out. But another one to cross over to Zuffa and throw Eddie under the. It's all getting messy, isn't it? It's just getting fucking messy. Like there's almost more like theater and sideshow and drama outside the ring than there is fights these days. Like everything's a storyline, isn't it? Like
Well, and Justin made a point. Like these guys have to come together to push back against Turkey and Dana at this point in time. Like it's basically
I'd say
like
that's easier said than done.
yeah, but they basically have to.
Yeah.
They basically have to. It's basically like the fucking like the American Revolution. You got join or die. You know, like so. Oscar, Eddie, and Frank all need to get together to make some fucking fights to push back on this shit and keep these guys from buying up their talent. This Virgil Ortiz thing, I guess that's an interesting story since it's a light week to talk about. Is that Oscar won his the lawsuit that Virgil Ortiz
on that actually,
him, to get out of his contract. And Virgil still is going to try to work out of it, but he said like they were getting them. They have an agreement on money and stuff, and it wasn't good enough for Virgil. That's what the fucked up things. And it brought me back to
who's Virgil Ortiz to be commanding these? Like we get back to the days where the fucking the good fighters or the fighters with the draw command the revenue. Like you can't. What are you bringing to the table? Like who the fuck? Virgil Ortiz can't draw flies. Let's be honest about it. He's not a fucking.
He's got a bit of a fan base, but what he would do well with was him and Boots. Because that's a fight. People are like, oh shit, that's a fucking fight, right? Like that's where the box office matters. But it took me back to when Andre Durrell got out of the fight with Andre Ward. He was in that Super 6 contract. Everything was written, their purses. They knew who was going to fight who, when, and where. And him and his team of which is all just his family is like, if they want to fight, they got to get the money right. They got to get the money right. The money's in the fucking contract. And that's what it sounds like it was with Ortiz too. It's like, yeah, maybe you exceeded what you thought your star power would be at this point in time, but that doesn't fucking matter. This is the contract.
Yeah, and like look, fighters generally not the sharpest in the drawer. Some of the people that get around them are some of the most horrible leeches and pariahs known to man and known to the entertainment industry. It really is crabs in a bucket, cesspit boxing. But here's one for you, playing devil's advocate. Who would you rather have running boxing? Turkey Al-Sheikh or Daniel Kinahan? It has to be said. I think DK was coming up with a lot better outcomes for the fighters and for the fans. He was a fan first favorite, Daniel Kinahan.
Let me say, from everything I understand about Kinahan, is all the dirty stuff he did it quickly, which is a lot different than torture. So I would prefer the guy who gets business done quickly and has cocaine.
Yeah, than a torturer. Yeah, it depends. Yeah. You know, pick your poison, I guess. but you know, look at there was a lot of opinions on his involvement in the sport, and obviously it's not something you'd co-sign as a decent human. But for the fight's sake, he did a great job. You'd have to say. Fellas were active. At least there was a lot of cards going on. Yes, it was a giant money laundering operation allegedly, but at least we saw some fights.
Not been a fucking money laundering operation.
It's always controlled by some fucking nefarious fucking entity, like the world. Basically, it's just a microcosm of greater society. But yeah, I don't know. I think Paramount and J Appetite, like a lot of stuff just doesn't fucking make for all the money that these guys are signing on for now at Zuffa. You have to wonder, is it fuck before it gets started? Because Turkey, let's talk about it, I guess, a little bit. Turkey came into the sport as an ally of Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, fucking Al Heyman, you name it. Everyone's out in Saudi Arabia holding hands with him, going to the ring and all that. He's taken all their, so he's had a chance at it, like, and he's put on a couple of cards and they've been stacked-ish. But you'd say the majority of the cards he's been involved with, they haven't captured the public's imagination, and some of them have been fights involving Usyk, Fury, AJ, Crawford, Canelo, biggest and best in the biz, like on big platforms, and it just hasn't caught the interest of the wider public. There's no kind of boxing is not booming despite all this
They're
investment.
finding there's a real price ceiling on it, I think, because it's like the ones that people got behind. They're like, "Fuck yeah!" The first better be Evan Bivol fight, which costs $25 over here. Crawford and Canelo did really good numbers on with your Netflix subscription. Like they've done well with that, but people are.
But their fights. But they're fights that probably couldn't have been made without the benefit of having a bankroll to cover the losses, right?
Yes.
Now, downsize that model and put it on Paramount, and you've got Jai Opetaia versus fucking Brandon Glanton getting paid probably 10 times over the odds for what that fight's worth. Where I'm struggling to see where the kind of kicker is for Zuffa, or how, like, is this just building from scratch and bankroll until you're the monopoly? That's what it looks like, and I think people will get bored with that along the way. Like, I give a fuck how much money the fighters are getting paid. Who the fuck wants to see that? Like,
I think they believe in their eye for talent, and I don't think they have it. I think and basically, like, kind of touch on some of what you're talking about with Turkey and when he got in here. Like, part of what Warren's claims are, like, in his legal stuff, and it's a very difficult case to prove, kind of, because, like, how much of it is trade secret. But that's basically what his claim is that Turkey got in on all this stuff, made these arrangements with these people just to learn the business and see how they operated more than anything else. So when you look at it like that, it kind of it makes it all a little bit dirtier, and you can kind of see where
they haven't
coming from, but
those involvements haven't shown me that they've picked up some kind of blueprint for success to build this into some kind of. I
think that's why they turned to Dana.
Yeah, but then that's frying pan into the fire. I think that's like that's the kind of a decision that somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing would do, like, because it's a dream, isn't it? Like a boxing UFC promotion, a UFC style boxing promotion, basically, like, with a best fight, the best one belt, blah blah blah. That's all well and good, like, until you need fighters to fill those spots. I don't see it. Like, I can't see this vision at all.
Well, PBC tried it because they were going to have, like, just the PBC belt, and that didn't work either. Because you can't do that. Boxing is a different animal. It's just a different animal.
So, like, if they'd have wanted to do that, in theory, you would have thought that instead of bankrolling all these fighters, go fucking try and buy the orgs out. Like, name your price for the WBC, the WBA, and the IBF, and let me amalgamate them. Like, you all keep your positions as ranking bodies and fucking, do you know what I mean? But people wouldn't be willing to. I don't know what the solution is, but I don't think this is it. And I couldn't give a fuck about Jai Opetaia fighting Brandon Glanton, being honest with you. Especially on Paramount. Like, what does that do? What does that do for anyone? Like, in America, there's so much fucking sport on the TV. So many kind of. There's so much going on. Like, so much content creation. So much. How do you sell that fight in America?
Well, how you sell that fight to me watching it, and just let me. I'll make my case for you. Like, the thought that I like that I like Opetaia a lot. I've been fucking riding that.
He's a good fighter, yeah.
Coming in against Bradis, but what would be hilarious to me, much like the when Raleigh beat Ryan Garcia, is if someone just upsets the apple cart. They invest all of this goddamn money, and it just goes poo on them for a name that carries far less value than Raleigh Romero. For take with that statement what it's worth. And here's a few points to think on here on how this might get screwy. And we touched on this earlier, and we're kind of coming back to a conversation we started before we had our interview guest on. But so the IBF title is not going to be on the line, but Opetaia was, like, really trying to make it happen. So it sounded like he was going to try to abide by the 10-pound IBF rehydration clause in great hopes that he'll still be able to keep that belt too. But Glanton isn't going to do any such thing. He's doing this Zuffa thing. So, and when you're 200 pounds, that's a way different rehydration clause than when you get lower. You saw 40 pounds south what it did to Eubank at the wrong time. So that's a big deal there. And also, Opetaia has been taking out these dudes, like, very early in most of these fights, 6 rounds or less. One of those dudes went 8 rounds. I'm trying to think, maybe it was Alizoro might have gone 8 with him, but I mean, other than Bradis, no one has gone there. And when he got into the 9th round against Bradis, he was huffing. And if you consider that he might have abided by that 10-pound weight thing regardless. And also that he made a statement about a month and a half ago, and I didn't mention this, that he would like to see men's boxing potentially move to 2-minute rounds as well. The late rounds could be interesting. If it's not Opetaia in 8 or less, this fight becomes very interesting. And Glanton has he's got a good beard, if anything. And I still would argue that CBS is the only guy who has beaten him. I thought he beat David Light, and I thought he beat the Russian cat too.
Yeah, maybe so. Look, he could fiddle him around and make it difficult, but 2-minute rounds, I don't. What's the benefit of that? I guess that the rounds are more action packed.
I think Opetaia is conceding the fact that he has a shit engine. That's what I think that statement shows.
Maybe so. Yeah. So Zuffa are looking to bring in 2-minute rounds, right? Is that what you're getting at?
Well, that's what Opetaia wants him to do. I don't think they are. I think they're going to scoff at
I couldn't
that.
see that.
Yeah, but I think more so like I'm more reading off of that statement saying this guy has a motor problem. Like and if he in the only time we've seen him 9 or longer, both of those fights against Bradis, he lost the majority of the last 4 rounds. Both of them.
Well, if what you're saying is pointing to the fact that Glanton can win this fight, what the fuck does that do for Zuffa? Like he's resigning Jay Opetaia as their man, and like you're saying with the eye for talent, I don't know, like Conor Ben's star power. Conor Ben needed Eubank as a dance partner to get him as big as he was. He had Eddie. Eddie made him who he was. Like Eddie promoted him for 10 years and sold us the dream of Conor Ben, because the boxing, we know like what he is. Do you know that way? And I think for him a move to Zuffa makes sense because he can't beat Shakur Stevenson, he can't beat Ryan Garcia, he can't beat I would say he can't beat a lot of the 140 to 154 guys anyway. So if they're going to bring him over there, make up a title, and he's the Zuffa world champion for 20 million a fight, great. But I think even when he comes up against a mediocre opposition, he's going to be found out spectacularly. Like, so where do all these investments go? Say Conor Ben loses, like I wouldn't rule out Prograis beating Conor Ben. I know Prograis shot, like, but I wouldn't rule it out. Like
150 catch weight, I don't know.
If we fiddle him around, he's not great as he goes down the stretch either. Like he's not great off the jab. He hasn't got great defense. He doesn't do anything really brilliant. He looked like he could punch, but we all know what the fuck where that came from. Yeah, but you gotta
remember Jojo Diaz fucking put down and hurt Prograis in that their last fight. That's I know
what I kind of maybe out on a limb here, like I'm kind of, but just for example's sake, I wouldn't even, if that on paper, like, would you really make Prograis a rank outsider against Conor Ben? I don't know, like,
not on paper, and nothing would make me happier than see Rougarou fucking end Conor Ben and the $15 million that fucking they sunk into him at Zuffa. Like, that would be one of those things that I take great joy in.
Like, he looked terrible in the first Eubank fight. He looked not great in the second Eubank fight, except Eubank was just completely emaciated, like, and gone. That was the only thing and he still couldn't, like, definitively stop him, or I don't know. Like, he looked like a plotter in the couple of fights that he had in between Eubank. It looked like he couldn't smash eggs with a hammer. So I don't know. Like, obviously he's stacked in his favor to beat Prograis, but say like the next opponent up from a Prograis, you'd automatically fancy them to figure out Conor Ben, wouldn't you? Like,
I think his ultimate ceiling is someone like Mario Barrios on the right night.
I think Barrios would have beaten him. He had Barrios' name in his mouth. They had him lined up. Like, there's big fights for Conor Ben that he could make, but he loses all of them, I think. Anyways, what does it matter what I think?
I think if he wanted Barrios, he would have had Barrios by now. It's kind of one of those things.
That's a fair point.
If he Barrios 6 foot nearly, like, would have fucking doesn't go away, would have fucking stood on him. I don't think he'd have knocked him out. I think Barrios would have been right there for him. Like,
Barrios is a lazy signing by Zuffa. It's just a lazy signing. They don't have to put a lot of effort into him. They're just trying to work off of the Eubank shit. Like you said, it's just a lazy ass sign. They don't have an eye for talent. It's just Opetaia was a lazy signing. Hey, we could get him. He's already kind of self-made. We don't have to really do anything. Ben's already kind of, Eddie Hearn already made him. We don't have to do anything. those are two lazy signings. Eye for talent, that's bullshit. They don't have an eye for shit. They just
I
have
think-
they're just big guys.
Opetaia at heavyweight, that's the thing. Like that's what they're ultimately eyeing at the end of the day is Jai at heavyweight, and he'll knock over Andy Ruiz or fucking whoever.
2027 main event: Andy Ruiz versus Opetaia. That'll probably happen.
Jesus.
They'll probably give him a Jogba first, and then he'll fight. And then Andy, I don't know who the hell Andy Ruiz would. I don't know what the fuck Andy Ruiz.
And then Eddie's going to sign Tom Aspinall, hasn't he? So they're talking about Tom Aspinall is going to fight AJ. Like, what's going on?
I thought that Aspinall wasn't going in a boxing ring though. I thought they said that he was still staying in MMA.
How
They
does
were,
that
but
work?
the rumors were flying today that AJ is lined up. Like,
Oh Jesus!
So maybe
Burns
Eddie
not
Hearn.
signing fucking Aspinall
No,
to manage his
no.
MMA career. Come on, like.
That's what I was saying. It's like what so Eddie Hearn's going to try to like fight Dana White by starting his own matchroom UFC type shit. No, he's going to box, and there's no doubt about that. They're going to start him. I mean, I don't think they're going to throw him in versus Joshua, but I say they might give him a knockover just so people could like have him somebody he can look really good versus a knockout, and then throw him in versus. Yeah, you don't sign him just to manage. Yeah, you're not managing shit.
I'm far from Eddie to be petty, but he could get Aspinall easy because Aspinall's been frozen out by waiting by Jones. The UFC fans kind of turned on him because he got an eye poke that time, accused him of jacking it. And he
That
wasn't
was
getting paid as much as
nasty. I
boxers
saw the
were. He could
final
have one
result of
boxing fight and cash out basically. Like, so why wouldn't he? Like,
No, you're right. That was Eddie Hearn. That was a extremely petty move by Eddie Hearn because
good for
he took, hey, I mean, if you're going to take my guy, I'll go try to grab one of yours. That's like kid playground shit, but it happened.
I had a joke there, but I think it's a bit too close. I'll leave Eddie's personal life out of it. I was going to make an analogy there, but I said I better not. Like, I'm in good form today. Like,
Dave Allen versus Aspinall.
you could have the fucking the Rangers fans versus the Celtic fans on Zuffa hooligan pay per view.
It would sell.
I know what I'd rather watch.
It's a funky time for boxing right now. Like I was thinking of like the schedule, like it does get better. There's a few decent fights in there, but like we got
Where are they, dude?
Yeah, we got a little bit of time here, so we can kind of, and I'll just use ESPN's because these are some of the bigger dates. And I know I'm missing some under the radar fights in here. Next Sunday. Yeah, I know you're all about this one there, Rob. Knockout CP Freshmart and Shokichi Owada going in there for Freshmart's junior flyweight title, right up your alley. Nonito Donaire is on that fucking card too, right? Fighting Rico.
Of course he is.
Anthony Olasquega is defending his title against Jukiya Ayumura over 12 rounds. I like Olasquega. He's a good fighter. I actually kind of think I would take him against Kenshiro in a rematch. The Mick Conlon card is coming up that Friday after there with him against Kevin Walsh, Kieran Malloy on there. Let's see here. The next day, I like this one from Orlando. They're finally making this fight happen. Carlos Adames and Austin Ammo Williams. I've been looking forward to that one. I think that's a good fight. Then they're going to have Terramona on there. Terramona. Let's see here. The week after that is Fundora and Keith Thurman. Frank Sanchez and Richard Torres Jr. on there. That's a decent undercard fight. Yuenle Hernandez, Terrell Gaucher, not so much. That same day, Moses Satoma, and Jermaine Franklin are going to be doing their thing, 10 rounds or less. Willie Hutchinson and Ezra Taylor, that's not a bad fight. Liam Davis and Zach Miller, that's not a bad fight. That's not Shaquille Thompson and Brad Pauls. That's not a bad card on there. That one from Manchester on the 28th. I'll give him some credit on that one. Then we have Deontay Wilder and Derek Chisora, Vidal Riley against Mateus Masternak on there. Denzel Bentley against Endry Saavedra for the vacant WBO interim middleweight title. That same day in Cardiff, Lauren Price is going in there against Stephanie Pinheiro. Be Still My Heart. Then in London the next day, Caroline Dubois against Terry Harper. It says ESPN.
That's interesting. It's not interesting, but it's that's that MVP Women's Boxing League.
Yeah,
MVP announced a roster of like fucking 16 fighters, including Chantel Cameron, Terry
Yep.
Harper, Baumgartner. Who else is
Ellie
in there?
Scottney's on that one.
Ellie Scottney, Caroline Dubois herself. I'd say Dubois will be looking for that Baumgartner fight, and Baumgartner won't really want it. But yeah, who cares?
Motor Skill 66 says Lester Martinez on Pro Box. Yeah, that one's going to be, I think, on the 21st or something like that. That is a decent card there. Let's see here. Tyson Fury and Makhmudov.
When's that on?
That's on the 11th of April. Then,
right, okay.
Yep. Then your girlfriend's going to be on an ESPN card on April 17th against Bo Mi Ray Shin. God damn! I hate when people's whole name is shorter than my fucking last name. Go to hell.
That's a Korean. That's one for another market because she's Korean and Baumgartner is Korean descent as well, isn't she? So there's a Korean crossover there, Maddie, that you missed.
James Windsor throwing a $1.99 in there. It says buy a Zuffa belt off Timu. On my way. Also on that fight, Shadeja Green and Lanny Daniels. You might remember Daniels fighting against the Goat recently.
Forget.
Yeah. The day after that, the 18th from Liverpool. I like this fight. Callum Smith and David Morrell. That's a fight. I like that one.
Here we go, scrap. Yeah, Saturday night action.
Yeah, and we'll just run it. Yeah, and then it ends in May and then jumps to the Mayweather. So we'll just run through May, just a few more. Gilberto Ramirez and David Benavidez. How do you not like that fight? If you don't like that fight, you're in the wrong place, my friends. That's good. The week after that, Wardley and Daniel Dubois. Slightly interested in that one. From Giza, Egypt, in the shadows of the pyramids, Alexander Usyk against Rico Suave Verhoeven. And then a rematch between Stephanie Hahn and Holly Holm in El Paso to close out the month. So that's the boxing schedule. There's a few good ones in there, but like,
Should we just can the pod until the Fury fight? Come back, see us when Makhmudov and Fury are back. We're fighting, man.
You know, if we didn't have that fantastic card in Dublin, I actually wouldn't necessarily be averse to it. But that is that one's worth talking about, and then the ammo shit. But we're keeping it under 2 hours or less recently, and I think that signifies the time.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, thank God for small miracles.
Anyway, I have to jump early tonight, so I could only just jump on very, very briefly. But I'll catch us all again very soon. Best of luck. And come on the hoops.
We're probably out of here another 5 or 10 here anyways. So
all right, guys.
Rob. We'll talk.
See you soon. Good luck.
But yeah, there were some good fights on there. I honestly, the one I'm looking forward to most, and the one I might actually try to swing going to, fucking root canals, maybe put off any other plans. But the Gilberto Ramirez against David Benavidez fight in Vegas for Cinco de Mayo weekend. That's a good fight. And obviously, I don't know why this wasn't on the schedule. Naoya Inoue against Nakatani. That one, actually, that's the fight. I'm like, why is that not on the schedule? How that fight is the one I am most looking forward to. I am as stoked for that fight as I was for Crawford against Canelo. Honestly, that's gonna be exceptional. I'm really looking forward to that one.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, and I still think Nakatani is going to tag him with that left hand. Like I think
Nakatani. If I had to bet, I would say Nakatani is going to knock Inoue down.
Whether he wins is a different story.
Whether he wins or not, he's going to knock Inoue down, which is not a bold statement because Inoue has went down. I think he's going to knock him down, but I think Inoue is going to stop him.
It could be one of those fights where both guys hit the canvas. Yeah. But the one thing I wouldn't do is read a whole lot into this fight from Nakatani's last fight, because that dude he was fighting was just so much more natural at the weight and much more physical. And Inoue is going to be of a much more similar physical stature and like physicality to Nakatani. So I don't think.
What day is that Ramirez fight on?
The 2nd of May.
I might be able to maneuver that out. I have like 4 days off before that fight even happens. That might be something in the works.
Fuck yeah. I'll get you in a group with Donnie. We were able to get him together with Marcin and Joe in New York. Yeah. Yeah, I actually think that's pronounced wrong. I think it's more like a cheen, but I could be wrong.
I was thinking it was like Marcin.
Yeah, I would always Polish names have fucked me up ever since. Who was that motherfucker? And the name didn't make any sense how you pronounced it. Oh god.
Oh yeah. The light heavyweight guy.
Zigor's Praska. I
Yeah,
like looked
yeah.
at his name. I'm like, how the fuck can you pronounce it? It starts with a G.
I have no idea.
It starts with a fucking G.
I have no idea what's going on.
It was just as difficult as some of these Irish names.
It makes you think of there was a guy on this Behind Bar show, and his name was spelled DCVDRY. And he's like, and then they kept trying to pronounce it. And he was like, guys, it doesn't make any damn sense. He said, my parents just gave me a bunch of initials. He said, so he said, he's been to jail like 82 times. And he said, the judge is like, and he's like, guys, it's not a name. He said, my parents were meth heads, and they just started giving me initials of people they knew and put it all in a name. So that's what makes it like. That's what some of these names are like. They're not. Maybe they're not supposed to be pronounced like his name. It's not supposed to make any sense. It's just a name. It's just initials. That's what I was thinking every time. Is like that was funny as hell. He was like, I have no name. It's like that was maybe that's where we're at now. It's not supposed to make any sense.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't think we can end on a higher note than that.
No.
So for all those people out there with names that we cannot pronounce, this episode is dedicated to you. I'd like to think. One second here, I'm fucking laughing my ass off here. Gotta get together. I'd like to thank Rob for jumping on here as he was able to. I would also like to thank Justin, as always, for jumping on with us, and also our special guest today, Sharif Musa, coming off that out of nowhere victory over a 14-2 or 16-2 cat, who had never been stopped before. Fair play to him. Those are the kind of fights, the kind of guys that we're all about. It's never over. Boxing is your life. Go out there and make your damn living. Knock some people out. So for Justin, Rob, Sharif, and myself, we thank you for stopping in. And again, for all those people with names that we cannot pronounce, we love you, and so does Jesus. Bye-bye.